Okay, here we go. The one who watches with no interest. You were saying.
Yes. Yes. There is watching without interest. And then what seems to be watching with interest is an appearance in that which has no interest at all. So the activity itself is being watched. The movement is being watched, but there is no interest. It's just what's happening. This watching without interest, it doesn't pinpoint and say, oh, I see that individual, I see so and so going that side. Or I see that person running around or looking for something. Oh, there's a bird flying. It watches everything. You know, at once. It's just watching. It's not trying to pinpoint and say, "Oh, okay, I see that. I see a bird. I see a car. I see a house, a mountain." So it sees everything as just one, you know, appearance in this. So this watching is not somebody who's watching. It's just watching happening. It's not somebody's wife or brother or sister or daughter. It's just watching. It has no individual in it. Though what seems to be an individual may seem to appear in it and say, "Oh, I'm watching a bird flying. I'm watching those beautiful mountains." So that may seem to be happening in this watching. But itself, as it is, it's just there. It has no interest. It's not trying to change what's happening. It doesn't wish that what's happening would be different in a way. It's just there, formless and empty, everywhere present, has no being.
So what happens when the thing that's watching feels pain and it's hurt?
Talking about that which has no interest.
Yes. But still.
Well, it doesn't feel any pain. The pain is an appearance in it. The one who may seem to be feeling pain is just one of the appearances in it. So itself is not an appearance. It's just there. It doesn't see the other. It doesn't see separation. It sees itself as one, just one. Pain may appear, but it doesn't belong to anyone. It's not the body watching. The body itself is innocent, you know. It's not the body that is watching even now. The body is being watched in this. Even what seems to be a local seeing is watched. When I talk about the local seeing, talk about the imaginary one that says, "Oh, I'm watching." I'm watching, I'm thinking, I'm listening. understanding. That's just one of the appearances in this, which is no appearance. So if it's seen that there is something that seems to say, I'm watching, I'm listening, I'm understanding, there must be that place which is greater than that appearance. And that place which is greater than that appearance is always here, constant, doesn't go away. And it is also seen that is even what seems to be an appearance, let's say I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm understanding, is also that place appearing as that. So I can say, uh, I'm watching, but not watching. I'm listening, but not listening. Walking, but not walking, because this doesn't go anywhere. It's always there. Even to say it's watching, it's not watching, it is just watching. There's nothing watching. Well, words may seem to be limited sometimes. Yeah, to express
Yeah,
yeah, this.
you do a pretty good job.
Yeah. So if it seems as if that's imaginary somebody is taking a decision, it's not that one is really taking a decision, but because that one doesn't really exist. It's wholeness taking a decision, appearing as that's local appearance taking a decision, but the decision is taken from that greater place. Then it seems as if that one is the separate self never decides anything because it's imaginary. It's not even there. The separate self never feels anything because it's imaginary. The separate self never gets anything, never understands anything because it's imaginary. It's not even there. Understanding may seem to happen, but it doesn't belong to anyone. When the separate self or imaginary separate self seems to disappear, it is always recognized or noticed that it wasn't even there in the first place. So there's no disappearance. Disappearance is an illusion. So it's already not there. So it cannot collapse, cannot disappear because it never even appeared. So there's nothing here already. Then everything's nothing unless a thought appears and saying, that's a furniture, that's a screen. But all those are just labels, imaginary labels. That seem to be in the past, that doesn't even exist. So there's no one here. There's nothing here. It's just this. It's this because it is beyond any description. It doesn't have any center. It can never be pointed to. No one can point to it because it's everything. There's no one outside to point to this because everything is this. So it can never be known. It can never be understood. It can never be gotten because it's everything. It's wholeness. It's complete. Even what seems to be somebody trying to understand it, it's still it appearing as it's somebody. Somebody disagreeing, somebody cursing it, somebody showing love for it, somebody who's not interested in it. It's still it appearing as that. So everything is beautiful because everything is an expression of this. So there's nothing that can talk on behalf of this because there's only this. So there's no separation. Even what seems to be an imaginary separation is everything this or what is appearing as an imaginary separation. So there's just life, eternal life.
Been hanging out with Christians.
Yeah. Where life is indestructible, life is ageless, formless, spacious, and empty. Life is not death. Death is just a thought. In the same way, what seems to be a separate self is just another thought appearing in this, which is deathless. Birth is another thought. No one can lose life because there's no one here. And life doesn't belong to anyone. There's just life.
Mm.
It expresses in different forms. There's just life everywhere. And it doesn't have any limitation. It pervades everything, even what seems to be objects. It's just life appearing as objects. So when the body collapses, life always not recognizing itself that it has never been the body. At times, it may seem to identify with the body to play certain character or many characters at once. But when the body collapses, it recognizes that it has always been life. It has never been the body. And it also sees that even what seems to be other bodies is still itself. So it may appear in one of the items or the bodies that, oh, I've lost a family member, but that's just a thought. But life itself in that the body that has just collapsed, it recognizes itself that it has no family, it has no relatives, it has never had family, relatives, brothers, sisters. It's just one life. It has always been life as it is. So at times, while the body is still functioning, there may be as well a recognition or noticing that there are no family, there are no family members. There's there are no friends. Just what I it's just this. It's just life. And it may see itself as alone as everything. So when that happens, uh, watching without interest may seem to happen. No, there's no consent anymore. There's no worry. Because there's just life everywhere. Life, in a way, knows itself as being deathless, formless and empty, everywhere present. So if the body collapses, it doesn't really mind. Because it never loses itself as it is. It's always one with what seems to be everything. Here, it is just life. There's nobody here. As I always say, this is more solid than what seems to be solid. Even when you are driving a car, the movement may seem to happen, but there's no movement at all. It's just life, solid, stable, unmoving as it is. And a thought movement appearing in it. So because if the thought doesn't, yes, if a thought doesn't appear that says, oh, I'm moving, then what? What's happening? Yes. It's just perceiving. And there's nothing being perceived and nobody perceiving. So there's no story. There's no real story. Because it can never be found. Even what seems to be the finder is already not there. So here and now, there's no past. There's no dates here. There's no time here. And there's no one here. There may be here-ness, but there's nothing in it. It's just so there's no separate self that can actually talk about this. So here there's just talking about this, but nobody's doing it. In the same way, there may seem to be a listening happening there, waiting happening, but nobody's doing it as well. It's just what seems to be appearing in this no thing. So the one who says, I'm getting it, I'm about to get it, is being watched in this. So that space where that one may seem to say, I'm getting it, I'm not getting it, I don't understand. You need to ask a question. It's always constant, unchanging, just there. So talking, appearing in this, it's more like a birds chirping. So to say this is wholeness, this is everything, may seem to be, in a way, just concepts, like meaningless in a way, because this is just here. It's not saying anything. It's not doing anything. So talking about this, it doesn't make it more than what it is or less than what it is. It's just talking. It's going nowhere. And this is here, not moving, not waiting, not looking, not even looking, just here. Not even looking in a sense that's as if, like, with interest, that I'm trying to say. It's just argument may appear, doesn't matter. Searching may appear, it doesn't matter. Practices may appear, it doesn't really matter. There's no wrong or right here. This doesn't contain any expectation.
This does not contain any expectation.
Yes. So right now, there may be, like, suddenly a monkey just dropping and running around there. It won't even matter.
I don't think that's gonna happen. No monkeys in North Carolina.